Mike, thank you for being a customer with AirAdvice since 2012. So glad that you're here today to chat with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
How are things going?
Things are starting to get spicy. We're down here in South Texas, and the temperature is getting warm, and the humidity is getting heavy, and so we're we're getting ready to handle a lot of demand service. Just finished our service agreements, and but besides that, on a personal note, I'm busy. I'm a busy father of three, and my wife works, and so we're balanced business and home life. It's a lot, but I love it. I'm love what I do, so I can't
Last
complain.
yeah, last week you guys had a big storm, right? Was
Well,
it a tornado or just like high winds?
the winds just barely blew down here, so we've since Harvey we've been good. Harvey was a rough one for us, but these seasons really bring some crazy weather all over this central and south area.
Well, Harvey, what year was that?
That was in 17, I think.
So you were a customer, an AirAdvice customer at that time. Did you see some crazy indoor air quality stuff?
Yeah, we saw a lot of just bad situations where homes weren't cleaned out well or they were slapped together. We did a lot of dehumidifier cells, and we ordered a pallet of dehumidifiers and rented them out, and eventually ended up selling those to the customers who rented them. So that was a way to address that. Over 60% of our town was flooded, and really all we could do was just take care of our individual customers to help the people that we knew were affected. So we went through our call list and contacted people we knew were in those flooded areas, not necessarily to try to sell them anything, but say, hey, can we bring you a meal? Can we help you out? Offering any of our services later on down the road. And during the rebuilding, yeah, we saw some very interesting things. Some units that were completely underwater that still worked. Some homes that were should have been torn down because the mold
Hmm.
and indoor air quality was just horrendous. But but yeah, we're still seeing some of the effects of that. All these, what is it, 7 years later? Yeah, it changes the community after you go through something like that. But but yeah, we used their advice once we started getting these homes back in the livable condition. We'd run it, do some mitigation on our side, adding some products, whether it's UV or filtration or dehumidification, ventilation. And it was good information for customers, and they felt satisfied in proceeding with these repairs because they had some good data to back it.
Cool.
I want to ask you a question about a personal question.
Okay.
I've noticed, not too personal, but I've noticed that some people
Are you wearing
that
pants?
are really you have a unique interest in indoor air quality and have for as long as I've known you.
Yeah.
Um, and I've noticed that many people in this field have a personal experience that brought them into that arena. Now, I
Mm.
haven't. I don't have anyone in my immediate family with asthma or severe allergies or any kind of respiratory issue, but I've found that a lot of people have had those issues that have
Yeah.
brought them to really hone in on indoor air quality. Just wanted to ask you if there's any of that, or if you just have that kind of mind like I do that likes to nerd out.
Yeah. That's a great question. And I grew up with asthma as a kid, and so I think that might play a small part into it. But there wasn't necessarily a moment that kind of was a springboard. The other thing is my mom had some pretty significant respiratory issues. I unfortunately got asthma from her. It doesn't really bother me anymore. In After I matured and was in high school and college, but she has dealt with it here and there. And they were talking about a lung transplant for her at one point in time. That was a pretty significant scenario. We were like, what's going on here? This was many years ago, my dad decided, you know what, let's put a dehumidifier in. I did some research. Let's see what that does. And within months, she could see a significant difference. And she went from looking at possibly getting a lung transplant to being able to manage this respiratory illness.
Anything, Mike, do you want to share a project that you think has had a drastic effect with a customer? Or
I do have one. My grandfather's neighbor, she bought this house, and so we did a AirAdvice for her because she just said, I get back and it just feels musty and feels clammy, and I want to try to figure out why it feels so uncomfortable. So she had like off the charts humidity. Yeah. But now that I think of it, we did do the longer report for that. Now that I remember, and so I think that's when we found out it was like a certain time of the day that the humidity would just go through the roof, and we were like, that's what it was. That and we were like, what is going on here? And I think it was either a toilet or a water heater, but it was something that was not happening all day long. And that's how we were able to figure out that the humidity level went through the roof at a certain time when they weren't even home to give us an indication of what was going on. Because the dehumidifier would recover over the course of the day, but then we'd have this massive influx of humidity, and then it would control it, and then it just did that cycle over and over again. And that's how we ended up figuring out they had to be some type of influx of moisture, which ended up being a irregular water leak. She was extremely happy that we were able to find this leak and then also provide a very good solution with the dehumidification and make her home comfortable, because then she could run her air conditioner at a higher temperature while she was gone for months on end, but still not have to worry about coming back to a house filled with mold.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the time and time again, we've ran into situations where we've been able to pinpoint an issue, provide a solution, and the customer was just over the moon because their home is comfortable. My home feels crisp. I've never lived in my home and it felt crisp like this. What did you do? We applied practical solutions to a specific problem. And so that's AirAdvice has been able to help us both pinpoint those issues and then also provide follow-up to show that it has in fact been fixed, been addressed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very gratifying. You changed someone's life.
Yeah.
With the dehumidifier and the pursuit of finding the root of the problem too.
Yep. Big time.
Not just the mechanical, but we've actually found leaks and more to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was good. It was a good feeling. And I like that, being able to fix a problem and know that you did the best you could, and your best was the best. It provided the accurate and full solution.